name is Sergio Enriquez. I'm going to bring you a topic on golf. And I'm going to preface this with a little bit of the history of golf, and then I'm going to go into my three fundamentals of the golf swing. So first, golf. What is golf? We all know you hit a ball with a stick into a hole. So that's a pretty elementary way of saying it. But the history of golf, it actually was created in 1457 in Scotland. It was actually a gentleman's sport, a gentleman's club, so a little bit of all male, usually a wealthy orientation. And now, all through the centuries and decades, it's evolved to a sport that's beloved worldwide, beloved by women, men, young kids, just in general. It's beloved now, and everybody's playing it, no matter what you come from, no matter what background you come from. It's pretty much universally loved, and it's very popular now. So with that said, golf is about a golf ball and a stick of some sort, right? So you have 12 clubs in your bag. You have a driver, you have a fairway wood, it's a 3-wood or a 5-wood, you have a 3-iron through 9-iron, and then you also have wedges and a putter. Now all those clubs have a specific purpose and a specific situation to be utilized. So that's a little bit of a background of golf and what it is, and more of an elementary, very simple form. But I want to give you an idea what golf is for those that are watching this video that have no idea what it is and no idea how to play. So hopefully after this video you want to play and want to reach out and go to your nearest driving range and take these fundamentals I'm going to talk to you about right now and put into practice. So the first fundamental is the grip. The grip is very important because that's the first thing you do when you grab a club. You grab it with your hands. You grip the club. You utilize the club with your hands. It's the beginning of the process. So there's 3 grips that are utilized. The first one's called the overlap grip. You actually, for the right-handed player, you actually overlap the pinky finger over the index finger, like so. So they're not connected, but they overlap. And the purpose of this is to create a oneness in the hands, to create one unit, one active unit, not two, not one overbearing hand or one that's taking over the swing. You want it to be one unit. So that's for the purpose of the overlapping. The second grip, which is a grip that I use, is for people that have smaller hands, usually males that have smaller hands. It's actually interlock. So you actually interlock the pinky and the index finger. This grip is actually used by Tiger Woods, which we all know is a well-known, probably to go down the best golfer in history. He actually utilizes this grip and has won and been very successful with this grip. It's the same idea though. It's one unison, one unit going through the club. There's no hand that's overtaking the action and causing the action. They're doing it together. Now the third grip, and this is probably not utilized as much, maybe only among young kids or usually women that have smaller hands, is the 10-finger grip. It's actually 2 hands, and it's like a baseball grip. And this grip is utilized when you have smaller hands and when you can't do an interlock overlap grip because your hands are so small you can't hold on to the club very well. The problem with this grip though is that it creates inconsistencies. You hit to the right, to the left, you hit down, you hit up, you top the ball, you hit fat when you actually hit behind the ball into the ground. So it creates a lot of inconsistencies. So the grip is very important. You need to figure out what's natural to you. And with that said, the grip pressure is very important. So let me give you a demonstration. So this is the bottle, it's empty. And this is going to be a demonstration of how the grip should be. So I'm going to put my interlock grip on there. You hear that? You don't want that. You're squeezing way too hard. And what happens is you tense up. My forearms are tense, my shoulders are tense, my neck is tense, and that causes bad shots. It causes inconsistency in your tempo. It causes you to hit down the ball and try to hit the ball. This is golf. The purpose is to swing through the ball. So you don't want to grip that tight. Lessen your grip up a little bit. Tight enough to hold it so you don't lose the club, or the bottle in this case, but loose enough to where you're flowing. You're not tight in your chest, in your arms. You want to be relaxed in a natural state. So that's good. This is a good way to get yourself used to gripping. So you those at home that are watching this that have never tried this, take one of these bottles and try doing that before you actually go out with your grip. So the grip leads up to the second fundamental, which is posture. Posture is very important. Like sitting in a chair straight up and tall, you want to do the same thing when you're golfing. You want to be in a good posture, in a relaxed posture, in a comfortable posture, but it's so important and vital to the success of your swing. So the first thing that comes posture is alignment. So wherever your ball and your club are headed, you want your shoulders, your hips, and your knees, and your feet to be doing the same thing. You want them all in the same direction. And so if I had the ball going in one direction and my shoulders are going another direction, that's going to cause the ball to do things I don't want it to do. So your alignment starts with that. So it starts with your feet, you have a little bit of knee flex, your hips and your shoulders are all facing the same direction. And that goes into your feet as well. So feet position is very important. You want your feet to be shoulder width and aligned with your body and your hips and your shoulders. And you want them to be shoulder width, so that gives you an idea to put where we want to put the ball at. The ball placement is important between your feet, depending on what kind of club you use. But your feet have to be positioned correctly. And they can't be straight, they got to be at an angle. Because your natural position when you stand is to be angled, 5 to 10 degrees. So you want to make sure that your feet are angled in a natural position. In golf, it's a lot about natural and comfortability. So you want to make sure you're comfortable. So that starts with your feet as well. And that all goes in with your posture and alignment. And that also helps with your ball placement. If your feet are positioned correctly, depending on what kind of club you use, the ball position matters. If you're using a driver, which is off the tee, that's your longest club, you want your ball position for a right-handed player to be on your left foot. If you're using a wedge, which is one of your shorter clubs, if you're closer to the green, you want it to be closer to your right foot. But your feet have to be positioned correctly for the ball position. Those are all important. And all that comes into with your feet is you don't want, so this is your heel. You don't want your power or your weight to be here on your toes or on your heel. You want it to be in the middle, so your balance is neutral. You want to be balanced in the middle of your feet and the balls of your feet. That's very important to keep your swing consistent. And you also want your arms and hands to be enough away from your body and close enough to where you're comfortable in your swing, where you're not having to make corrections in your swing. So your hands, the way I do this is you bend at your hip and your waist, keep your spine angle, your spine straight and your back straight. You bend over and you dangle your hands. This allows you to figure out where the club should be at naturally, and that's what you need to figure out. All those things are going to help keep your posture correct. So after that, your final posture is going to have to get your club set. That's going to be your final posture before you actually go back for your swing. And that leads into our third fundamental, balance and tempo. Probably one of the most important outside of the grip, because you have to be balanced in tempo and have good tempo. The thing is about golf, you're not trying to hit the ball like in baseball. You're trying to swing through the ball at a good tempo and a good balance, like a pendulum. It swings back and forth with the weight and the balance. That's how you want your golf swing to be. So when you go back to your backswing, you're not trying to overexert yourself, trying to go too far back. So what causes that, if you look at me right now and I go back, I keep my head straight, my body straight. If I go too far back, I'll start to dip or start to lose my balance. So you have to make sure your backswing is natural. And you have to know when to stop and to come back through. The problem with the amateur golfer is that they mentally break down. They're standing over the ball and they want to crush it. The reality of it is we have to have good tempo and keep our balance from start all the way through finish. And that's going to help with the impact on the ball. When you keep your balance and you keep your head on the ball and in your tempo, you're going to hit the ball smoother, and then you're going to finish through facing your target. That's what you want. When you actually hit the ball without good balance and tempo, you actually hit the ball too hard and you lose your balance and you have bad tempo, you're going to lose your balance and now you face your target because you're going to be facing another direction. So keep that balance and tempo is very, very important. And it's going to help the impact and it's going to help the finish of your backswing. Now we've discussed the three fundamentals: grip, posture, balance, and tempo. You have to keep those three things. They all correlate and they all work off each other. If you don't have grip, you're not going to have a good swing. If you don't have posture, you're not going to have balance. So you have to all correlate and they all depend on each other. So in conclusion, you have to make sure you work on all three aspects. And take your time doing it. For those of you that have never golfed before, after this video, I know you're going to want to. Hit your next driving range tomorrow. Make sure you take all these fundamentals and put them in practice. Thank you for your time.